section one, the introduction. We started building the foundation. And at this point, in order to continue the presentation, you must have already received the electric bill showing the usage for the year. As you can see, the format continues with the color codes, instructions, rebuttals, triggers, etc. Again, I'm not going to go over the entire script, just the finer points. Once the bill is received, we readjust the proposal in the Freedom Portal accordingly. We start by pulling up their electric bill and then taking them to the electrical usage section in the proposal. We want them to participate in the process, either by having them estimate the correct usage and then you edit it if the bill was received, or helping us double check the numbers that we already entered if the bill was received previously. We, we want them to start taking ownership, and we want to have the presentation be interactive with their participation. You'll notice the next section is optional. When you receive the utility bill, you should have entered the information in the utility bill calculator. If the monthly average in the calculator is higher than what they originally told you, pull up the utility bill calculator. You may find it beneficial to show it to the customer and separate their perception versus reality. It's another tool in your belt to use to your advantage. The amount they told you is their perception. It's the number that's stuck in their head. It will be the number that is stuck in their head and the amount they are measuring what you're offering against. If it works to your advantage, share it with the customer. If not, don't. It's your choice. At this point, we move on to the build out in the proposal. Obviously, the pre-design that you created might have to be changed because the financing option that you ultimately choose will determine what panels to use. More on that later. I wanted to bring your attention to the tools that are available to share with your customer. Once you pull up the design, first ask the customer if it's their house. Talk to them about the house, compliment them about what a beautiful house it is, how cool it is, how cute it is, etc. And then talk about the roof, its shape, slope, size of the roof, the shade situation. You want to point out the encumbrances on the roof, the dormers, the vents, the chimneys, the setbacks, etc. You have a number of tools that are available to your disposal. Please make sure to use and demonstrate all of them, whether you need to or not. You can use your mouse to scroll in and out, to zoom in, and you can zoom out. On the right-hand side, you have two tools available. You have the compass here, which changes the direction of the house, is the elevation view. On the left-hand side, you have what looks like a stack of books icon. Open it up and you can see the tools that are available here. You have your radiance, you have LiDAR, you have the tree section, the property lines, rulers, and the sun path. With the sun path, it's pretty cool. You can pick and choose what month you're looking at and the hour of the day, and it will show the arc of the sun. In the different months. These are all cool tools to use. Please take advantage of them. It will help prove credibility and set you apart from other proposals they may have seen. They will also help explain why the system is being built out the way it is, rather than just taking your word for it. To the script page 9, we're talking about batteries, and because batteries may be required or the utility company may purchase the power for less than what they sell it for, or because non-battery backups are available, we have 5 different scenarios. Please familiarize yourself with them. Make sure you're prepared ahead of time and know what scenario to talk about before meeting with the customer. I'm not going to spend time on this. I just want to make you aware of it. Here we're starting to get into financing. Before we get into it, as most of you know, the landscape in the industry had a monumental shift and changed dramatically. As a result of the big, beautiful bill, the federal government eliminated the tax credit for residential solar purchase. That tax credit paid for the first 30% of the system, basically incentivizing people to choose the purchase option over leasing, whereas before purchase was the option that made the most economic sense for people. In the process of all this, they extended the tax credit to the leasing companies, tipping the scales to their side. You'll find out that most people will choose the lease option as it makes the most economic sense when they're comparing them side by side. That is, unless state or local incentives are available, and that's on a case by case. Couple of things to note. When I mention leases, I'm using it as a general term. I'm referring to both the PPA or power purchase agreements and lease options. Secondly, not all states allow for leases, and not every utility company works with the different leasing companies. So leasing may not be an option. It may come down to simply purchasing. If after you do your due diligence and purchase is the only option for the customer, obviously we'll not be talking about leasing at all, and we'll skip to the purchase section on page 15 of this script. We start out by using the analogy that choosing to go solar is like buying a car. Once you've decided on the make, model, color, and options, you have to choose how to pay for it. Solar is the same thing. Just like buying a car, you have 3 options: cash, finance, and lease. This is where Taylor McCarthy's card demonstration comes in handy. We're going through the motions, offering and explaining all the options available, but ultimately, we're leading them to the lease option if it applies. And the reason is simple. Without the tax credit or the local or state incentives, it's not going to make economic sense. Most people will not see the long-term savings of ownership, either because they don't live in their forever house, will not outlive the savings, or do not want to wait that long for return on their investment. It's the same reason we want to take the cash purchase off, unless there's an overriding reason or it's the only option because they failed credit. I wanted to point out on page 12, we have another option: the lease escalator chart. It shows what the lease payments will be year by year with the escalator. So if you wanted to demonstrate how many years they're getting a lower payment until they lose their advantage, as opposed to having a fixed payment with 0 escalator, and what the break-even point is. Typically, it's about 5.5 years, and then the pendulum starts to swing the other way. Keep in mind, it will still be a better option than the annual increases from the utility company. The chart is set up and works the same way the annual inflation chart works that we discussed in the previous video. All right, moving on to page 12 is the lease close. This is the first of the 2 closes that are built into the script and presentation. It basically explains the financial ball game. It's to be used in conjunction with the lease calculator slide, where you're just reading the script and recapping the benefits, reading the numbers from the calculator that you're inputting. The calculator will be filling out the fields in pink. You're going to start out by filling in the inflation rate. Let's say it was 6%. Let's say their average electric bill right now is $300. let's say the lease option that you're proposing is 225 a month. The system size is 10 kilowatt, and you put in a 2.99 escalator. It spits out what the comparison is. So the $75 first year, they're saving $900. In 25 years, they'll be saving $759. In the first year, they'll be saving $9,100. Over the course of 25 years, they'll be saving $99,201. Their home increase is going to go up by 59,000. And if you add up the savings and the house increase, their total benefits is $158,000. So to recap, it's comparing their current situation if they did nothing at all here on the left-hand side and contrast it with if they went solar in the middle, and then explains comparing one side versus the other on a monthly and annual basis and over the course of 25 years. It's comparing apples to apples and showing the savings across the board. Next thing we do is we address their questions, comments, and concerns. Then explain the next steps, run credit, and send the docs for them to sign. Please note that if other leasing options are available and the payment that you quoted was too high for them, there's a built-in rebuttal explaining that there are other leasing companies and options, and you already know what the parameters are and what didn't work for them. Therefore, you have the advantage and can get another bite at the apple by quoting less with another leasing company. Again, another tool in your belt. Next, we go on to the loan section on page 15. Previously, I spoke about different roles we play and mentioned being a mortgage broker. This is the section that I was referring to, as it can be both complicated for you and for the customer. We move on to the SRECs, the State Renewable Energy Credits. These are optional. This is only to be used if the house is in the District of Columbia, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, or Virginia, where SRECs apply. These are state incentives. So if they don't live in those states, do not mention them and skip to the next paragraph. Moving on to page 16, we get the purchase close section. This is where it starts to get real. This is the second of the two closes built into the script. Tab, the solar payback period calculator. It's another calculator built into the PowerPoint presentation. Only use it if you want to know what the break-even point is and when it starts to get profitable for the customer. If you use it, I suggest you test it ahead of time when you're doing your due diligence so you have an idea as to what it is and what it will look like, so there are no surprises. Next, we have the purchase close and financial calculator. It's set up and works the same way the leasing close and calculator do, where we're just reading the script and recapping the benefits, reading the numbers from the calculator. So that's the script from start to finish. We're framing the conversation and taking the customer on a journey. As I said, it's pretty comprehensive, thorough, and straightforward. Think of it as when your mother got you your first paint by numbers kit. For every 3, you colored it in blue, and for every 2, red, and 1 yellow. And at the end of the day, you had a nice, pretty little picture. This is the same thing. Just follow the script and the built-in instructions, and you will be successful. By following the script, you're going to avoid going down rabbit holes or have the conversation take a turn and go off to Pluto. You want to stay on point. Now let's talk about tips and tricks that will help you. I cannot stress this enough. Please print out and use the script. Do not read it from a computer screen. The script was designed to be presented as a consultative conversation. There is no such thing as a perfect pitch. So invariably, someone's going to interrupt you with a question, comment, or a concern. Your job is to address their question, comment, and concern and go right back to where you left off in the script. Well, unless you're following it with your fingertips, you're going to have to find where you left off. By doing that, two things are going to happen. Either you have awkward silence, or the customer hears you subconsciously. Where's that? Hang on a second. Either way, you're not sounding professional. Either way, you're getting off point. Using the script, you sound more professional and you sound more believable. It will give you confidence and act as a security blanket, allowing you to be confident in your delivery. They will be able to hear it in your voice. Also, if you're sharing your screen with the customer, you can't share the script and the presentation at the same time. With the script, you have flexibility as to what you say and how you say it. That said, we want you to stay within the letter of the script. From the customer perspective, some things are going to be more important than others. So you got to feel your way through it, and each presentation is going to be different. If someone's interested in a particular topic, spend some time on that topic. If not, move on, keep it moving. Inject your personality and flavor when speaking. You got to own it. You got to own it as if you wrote it. However, when it comes to the questions, you got to ask them exactly how they're written. Do not paraphrase them. It's not the question you ask. It's how you ask the question that's important. You could ask the same question 10 different ways. And I guarantee you, you're going to get at least 5 different answers. We don't want multiple answers. We want the right answer. That said, be prepared with your rebuttals. You guys have the advantage. You know what the game plan is. The customer is hearing it for the first time. You should know what questions are coming and be prepared with an answer or rebuttal. Do not be afraid to stand them up. Please understand, people are going to test you to see if you know what you're talking about and believe your own BS. The worst thing they can do is say no. If you sound confident and professional, you're going to set a positive tone and give them reason to trust and believe in you. Believe in what you say, in what you believe. Be proactive, not reactive. For instance, if they ask, what's next, or how do we get started prematurely, before you finish making the presentation, explain. We need to make sure it's a right fit and that you and your home will qualify. Do not take the bait. Stay in control. Use ownership phrases like, this is where your panels are going to go. What will you do with all that savings? Whatever you do, please do not say, let me be honest. all kinds of red flags. Instead, say something like, let me be blunt. Be prepared before doing the presentation with the customer. Make sure you're comfortable with all the portals and how to navigate them before you make the presentation with the customers. Know what you're talking about. Know what you're going to show and how you're going to do it. If there's any questions, there are videos and documents in the library for each topic. There's also a step-by-step guide that's built into the CRM. Part of being prepared is having all of the sites open on your browser that you can possibly share with them if the opportunity arises. Also, have any documents that you can possibly share open as well. That way you have instant access and you're not fumbling your way through it. Everything is intentional. You're not wasting any time with the customer. One of those documents is having the pre-submission worksheet open. You may need to use it. It's also a good idea to review and practice the script prior to each presentation. We do this for the same reason you stretch and warm up before you play sports. You want to get your mind and body right before you play when it counts. So that's the script and presentation in a nutshell. If at any point you find yourself needing help, please feel free to reach out. We are here to help, including designing proposals and help conduct the first few presentations. We look forward to working with you and with your continued success. Please let us know if you need any help or have any questions. Do not hesitate.